Hi, I'm Sue from Crafts to Enjoy. Welcome to my craft room this afternoon. I've been playing around with some Christmas things. Really exciting, it's that time of year again. I can't believe we're doing Christmas. And I thought I'd show you how to make something similar to this. I've been using a punch, which is a bundle, pop of petals, which is more than just, I've been playing with this a lot, trying to get really maximum usage out of it. And the punch, it has a coordinating punch as well, which is just fabulous. So that's what I've been making the poinsettias out of. So really useful. I'll show you how I did that. So I'm going to start by making, you see, for the wreath at the bottom, in the middle rather, I've actually used this stamp here, which was quite an, I thought, oh, it looks a bit like a wreath, it could do. So I'm going to start by just creating a circle. I've just got one of my framelits here, which is great because obviously these are my framelits in a case. I could use any size I wanted to, so that's another way you could use your framelits. I'm just going to do it by eye, and I'm just going to draw around the centre of it, just with a pencil, just to give me a rough guide for my, so I've got something to work from. I've mounted up the stamp, and I'm going to use, on this one I've just used one colour. I just used Old Olive, but I thought I might try doing 2 colours. Let's see how we go. Yeah, I'm just going to ink that up quickly, and then I'm just going to try and, although it's a rubber stamp, I'm just going to just try and follow that pencil line. And I think if you do like first generation stamping, which is the full strength ink, and just go around it a little bit, make it look it looks a bit sort of textured or a bit different colours. So I think in nature nothing's quite symmetrical and even, is it? So that's another third. Went around it again. Don't want it to look too messy looking, but obviously want it to look quite sort of pronounced. This is my first video, by the way, so I hope it's going to go well. So yeah, I really like that, and that's my wreath done. I'm just going to get that out of the way, otherwise I'm going to get into a mess. And I want to show you how I've made the actual poinsettias themselves from the punch. So I've just gone round them with the Poinsettia as well. So I'll show you how I did that. I love it. I really love it. And this bit, look at all that bit does. It moves. So you can just imagine that on someone's mantelpiece or somewhere at Christmas time. So what you need for this is obviously the punch. And I can see I've well used this bit of card, but you need 3 of the flowers. And then we're just going to cut them up. 1, 2, 3. I get every scrap out of mine, so I'm quite thrifty with my my cards to make it go further. Then I found it was easier to get just a bone folder with your finger like that and just go around it like that. Before I cut, obviously we're going to cut them up to make the petals of our poinsettia. So I quite like that idea. So it was easier to do them when they're attached to the 4. So then we're going to get our scissors. I'm going to cut them into 4. Hope you can see that, what I'm doing there. Cut them into 4. So we're going to cut all 3 of the flowers into 4 pieces, 4 petals. Then we're going to obviously anchor them onto a circle. I've just got a 3/4 inch punch here, which is a round punch here. Hopefully you'll be able to see that. And I'm just going to punch out a red circle, again from a scrap. So like so. Oh, where'd it go? There it is. Move that out of the way. So I'm just going to get some glue on there. And then just start, obviously I'm just going to start sticking them to the circle. Because the punch is only a certain size, I wanted to make them a bit bigger and make them look a bit tiered. So I'm just going to stick those on, so that on the first layer, or the first layer, we're going to put 7, and the next one we're going to put 5. Oh, got a big blob of glue there come out. Whoops. Let's just hold those on there a second. So we're going to put 7 on. Oh, I've got a bit gluey there. Whoops, oopsie. come out now. Oops. Oops. A bit fiddly, but it's doable. With the last one, I'll try and get that up to show you. With the last one, I just try to tuck it underneath a little bit, if I can pick it up. So I just try to sort of slide it in a bit, so it's kind of like looking a bit like that. The glue will dry, so that'll dry clear, so that's no worries. And then I'm going to put the top 5 on. Oh, I've got glue all over my fingers now. Wipe my fingers on my trousers. Yeah, so I'm just going to put a bit of that on. Oops, oh gosh. Each petal. I think the more you do, the quicker you'd get. So I'm just trying to overlap them a little bit in our circle. Makes a difference obviously because we've curled them over the bone folder, so we could because they've got a bit of dimension to them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, one more, and you get a spare. And just try and put that underneath again, so it sort of tucks in with it. Fingers crossed. Oh, my fingers just made that move. So I'm just going to let that, oops, dry a second. Let's get the pokey tool and lift it up. There we go. Oops. We're just going to let that dry. I think I've lost one of my petals. So, obviously you've got a bit of wiggle room with the glue, so you can move them into the place that you want them to be. I think for me that's about right. I'm just going to let that dry. And then I've wanted to have a centre of my flower, so I've chosen some of these really pretty stones. So these are, let me tell you what they're called. These are clear faceted gems, and because I've only had the clear ones, they do them like a goldy or yellowy sort of colour. But obviously I've got some of the Stampin' Up blends, so you can use your blend and colour them. So I'm just going to quickly do that. So I've chosen the more sort of marker end, and you can just go over the top of them. You could use any of your blends to do this. It's so good. Obviously you've seen the difference in the I'm just colouring that in quickly, and it dries quite instantly, so they're really good. So now I'm going to take my pokey tool to lift it up, and then oops, pop it in the centre of my flower. Hopefully that will stay there. I'm going to let that dry for a few seconds. So that's that. Yeah, really handy those, because obviously you can colour any of them in, so they're really quite cool. Next thing I did was I made a bow for the top of the wreath. So I'm going to get all our components ready to put together. So to make a bow, I do mine this way. So I do the bunny ears from my fingers like that. Hope you can see what I'm doing here. And then I put the left over the right, and then underneath, hopefully, she says. Oh, start that again for you, so hopefully you'll catch it. So left over the right, and then underneath and through the circle. Obviously you can make them bigger, smaller, you can do whatever size you like. I do like the Stampin' Up card and ink, because it all matches. It's just really good, and this is real red ribbon, so not all of the brands that they sell out there all match, so that's why I like Stampin' Up, because it's effortless really. If you look in the catalogue and see a real red colour, it all matches. So oh, my scissors aren't cutting very well. Right, okay, so that's my bow made. So I'm going to put that at the top there, it's ready to go on. And then I decided to make my 'Tis the Season. This stamp comes from a set which is called Itty Bitty Greetings, and I really like this. Anyone who's watched my Facebook or anything, I've been doing lives, I've been using these an awful lot. There's just so many uses for them, and I've just found another use for it. Thanks. I've just found a 'Tis the Season. So they are a real all-round set of stamps for you. So yeah, really useful. I've got that mounted up already, and I'm going to do it in. I'm going to do it in the green. I've decided. I use every scrap of my card. So this is a scrap of the very vanilla. So it is the season on there. I'll just put that over there out the way. And I'm going to show you that there's a punch that kind of coordinates or matches not all of the stamps, but it does do quite a few of them. So I'm just going to hopefully show you how I've done that. I've got sticky fingers again. In there. So I hope you can see how I'm punching that out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get it towards the end, like so. And because it's a little bit big for my, put that in the bin, it's a little bit big, I'm going to try to slide it back in, like so. Hopefully it should go. Hold it up and try and make sure it's straight, and then punch again. So it makes it smaller. So I don't want that piece. But obviously it's made the punch make it a bit smaller. Oh, that's stuck to my work surface now. So then I'm going to make this into a hangy for my door. So I'm just going to find my pokey tool and oh, there we are, pokey tool, and I'm using my paper piercing mat to go just make two. Oh, you can't see that, sorry. Right, so I'm just going to get that in the centre there and just push down gently to make a hole to put some, you could use baker's twine, or I'm going to use linen thread to make mine. I hope you saw that. I'm just going to make a hole, little holes. So I'm going to hang my little 'tis the season on my wreath. So I'm going to get some linen thread, which I just really, really love. And I'm going to lick the end of it so you can push it through. It's a bit of a tight squeeze, so oops, let's try that again. It's a bit tight, but I didn't want it to hold to be too big, so oh, it's not going to go now because I'm filming. Oops. Yeah, there we go. That's one end through. So all I'm going to do now is just create a little knot so it holds it, so it doesn't come through. Just like that, and then I'm going to just trim that quickly. So that holds that there, and I'm going to go up and then down again. So I'm just going to kind of measure it by eye to where I think it's going to go. So I think about sort of there, so I'm just going to cut that off a little bit, make another, put it through first, and then I'll try and lick that in like you would a bit cotton, so it doesn't sort of get too separated. Or I could use my pokey tool to poke it through. But well, is it going to go? Oops. Oh. Oopsie. Something through. Whoops. Oh, it's split. It's split. If that happens to you, just try and wind it round like I am on my fingers there. I've licked it again and then try poking it through. Should we try the pokey tool? Oh, it's not going to go, is it? It doesn't want to go. Okay, let's try again, making the hole a little bit bigger. I've done this a few times this morning and it's gone okay, but now I'm filming it, it doesn't want to go. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oopsie. Let's try making the hole a little bit bigger again. Let's try again. There we go. So and make the heart, make a little knot for the, so it doesn't come through, so it can make a little hanging for our wreath. I'm just going to trim that end off a little bit so it makes it a bit neater. Oops, let's get that out of the way. So I'll get my linen thread out of the way. So I'm going to actually the next something I'm going to do is put on some, as you can see on my one there, I've got some leaves that are from a punch, another punch that I have, which is the leaf punch. That's really quite cool as well. So I'm quite thrifty with my punching, so I try to get as many things as I can out of it. So sometimes I go top and bottom or the side, or I tilt it so I can get more out of it, out of my card. So, and I wanted my leaves to be a little bit of a different shape, so all I've done is holding it, I've just bent them a little bit so they're a bit different. And obviously I could I'm just going to give them a quick bone folder so they're a little bit curly or a little bit leafy like looking. Is that even a word, leafy like looking? And then I'm going to attach them to the back of my poinsettia flower. Just find my glue. Oh, it's not coming out. Oops, a big blob again. Oopsie. So I'm going to put one about there and another one underneath. Oh, my glue's not working now. Oh dear, there we are. Okay, our glue's going again. There we go. So I just put a couple of those on there, like so. Then I'm going to put this card together, so I'm going to just grab the dimensionals. Oops, I haven't got in the shot. I'm just going to get some dimensionals and I'll put one on the back of the flower to hold everything together. I think I'll put a couple on there. What was one? And a bit of a edgy bit there. I'm going to use that as well, just to give it an extra bit of support so it sticks. I use all my bits of my my dimensionals, all the edges and everything, because they're great to use. So I'm just going to take the backs off of that, place my flower, I think it should be about kind of there. Then I'm going to put my my bow and my hangy. Tis the season. So how big do I want that to be? About, I think it needs to be about so big. Just going to snip that off a bit and put that on the back of our bow. I'm going to take that off and hopefully I should be able to just catch the, well, I think that I want that to be, I quite like that being a little bit on the wonk. So yeah, I quite like that. That's coming together. Now finally I'm just going to mount up the card. So I'm going to put it on a bit of red. Just going to glue that. Onto the red first. And then I'm going to put that on, pop that onto the, oops, bit of dimensional back there. Bit of glue on there. And then onto the green, the garden green. And that's our card for today. I hope you enjoyed that tutorial. Oh, one thing I've got to show you. It's my first one. Right, I just got a Winker Stella, nearly forgot, and went round all the edges. This is so sparkly and so lovely. How could I forget the best bit? And it really makes it bring alive, because you see in the shops they sell these type of flowers, don't they, and they've got like sparkly bits on them, so that's really lovely. I'm just going to turn that round so I can get to it. Obviously I do have an online shop. If you'd like to go to my website, you can. I have a blog over there, so you can also have a look at other things that I've been making. If you have any questions, leave me a comment. And that's today's one. I've just done that, just wait for that to dry a little bit. Hopefully you can see the way it's sort of glistening. Thank you very much for watching today, and I hope to speak to you soon. Thank you, bye bye.